What is going on, Hive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about how you can burn fat fast while doing OMAD, 1 meal a day. Now, I've done a video about this in terms of 16-8, but I definitely need to tackle this for this specific intermittent fasting regimen because this is another popular one that a lot of people use. Let's go ahead and break it down in this video. Stay tuned. Before we start, this video is brought to you by yours truly, Fledge Fitness and the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. If you haven't gotten yours yet, what are you waiting for? With an ergonomic design, aluminum handle, and swivel design, you can't go wrong with the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. You can click on the top right hand corner of this video or down in the description box below. And of course, as always guys, thank you so much for your support. Now let's go ahead and get right into the video. First thing we're going to tackle is don't let the deceptive nature of eating one meal throughout the entire day or eating a meal within a 1 hour time frame, because some people do it that way. Some people just eat within 1 hour and they consider that OMAD, but they'll eat multiple different things, and some just eat literally one meal. Do not be deceived that this is the golden ticket to no matter what you do, you will be below calorie counts or you'll be at a net negative energy balance where you're automatically losing weight. I cannot tell you how many countless times people have done OMAD under the assumption that they are going below their calorie necessity so that they're burning calories, which essentially means burning fat, but they're actually not, because they're so deceived by the fact that the eating window is so small and the meal is just one, that they eat so much, and they tend to eat things that are low in satiety but very calorie dense, and then what ends up happening is that they just still keep the weight on or don't lose weight at all. Yes, intermittent fasting have innate things that help with fat burning, but you still need to be at a net negative energy balance. You still need to require more energy than you are putting out. So if you're storing more energy than you are expending, then you will still gain weight. So you need to be expending more than you're storing, which touches on your energy expenditure, but also what you're eating. That's the double-edged sword. It's easier to be at lower calories when you do OMAD, but it's also easy to deceive yourself that no matter what you do, you're at low calories. And that can be a recipe for disaster. So if you want to make sure that you are burning fat as fast as possible, you want to at least get an understanding of what you're eating and have some structure to how you consume your foods. Eating healthier or more healthier, which essentially just means more nutritious foods that tend to be high in satiety, which means you feel full, but not so much in terms of calories. Obviously, there's a balance because you don't want to go too low in calories because this is your one and only meal. So you want to be as healthy as possible with your calorie count and the nutrition that you get from your meals. Make sure you get what you need from that 1 hour or from that one meal. Number two is, and I have to always interject this into any of the lists that I do in terms of intermittent fasting and weight loss, because a lot of people leave this out for some reason. You need to apply exercise, because exercise gives you the other end of the spectrum, the energy expenditure part, and you need that as part of the equation. Your body will start to slow down in terms of the metabolic rate as you reduce in weight. This happens to everyone. You cannot stave that off. You can try to do things to make yourself have a better foundation to slow it down as much as you can, but you can't stave it off. It's called adaptive thermogenesis or metabolic adaptation, and that will occur when you reduce weight, when you reduce caloric intake. So you must try to battle as much as you can against that metabolic slowdown. And how can you do this? Well, doing things that expend more energy so that even though your metabolism is slowing down, you're still burning more calories on the back end. So you're still putting yourself at a net negative energy balance, and you're expending more energy than you are storing by basically physically doing that. And then also you can build muscle. Resistance training is important because muscle or lean mass, which is muscle is a part of that, is the primary driver for your metabolic rate. So if you want to drive your metabolic rate and make it and push up against that metabolic slowdown, you need not look any further than actually building muscle. And you can build a lot of muscle. You'll be so surprised how much muscle you can build when you haven't built muscle at all. Trust me, you're going to have an exponential growth in the beginning for like a few months until you start getting it to that normal pacing where it'll take years to build more muscle. But that initial muscle is still going to help you burn more fat on the back end. And number 3, eating earlier rather than later. Now, all of the studies that we've seen are telling you can eat whenever you want. It doesn't really make a difference. But there are other studies that look into more specific elements of intermittent fasting in terms of time of day or how much food you're eating or types of food. And the ones that look at time of day have consistently come back with one result. And that result is that the circadian rhythm of how you eat, and when is the most optimal time to eat is showing itself to be earlier rather than later. Now, when some people hear earlier, they think the morning. I have to eat at 8, 9, 10, anything after that, it's too late. That is not the case. When these studies take place, they actually usually have the groups go from 8 to 4. So any time between that, up until 4 p.m. in the afternoon, you're essentially in the early time restricted feeding part of the day. So pick any one of those times to have your one meal a day so that you can at least be within that circadian rhythm flow so that you are as optimal as possible when it comes to breaking down your food and getting quickly into that post-absorptive range and that metabolic switchover where you're using more body fat for fuel. Hopefully this video has helped you guys. I do see a lot of people take for granted the fact that they have only one meal, and it could be their downfall because I don't say they're cocky, but they are definitely very confident that they're not going to overeat in a short period of time, but you will be surprised. It can happen. So you want to stay focused. You want to know exactly how much you're eating, or a rough estimate at least. You want to go to the gym and you want to try out eating earlier rather than later, anytime between 8 to 4. That can be the difference that you need if you're stuck within your OMAD regimen. Of course, I want to thank my patrons from my Patreon, and I'm going to put their names right up here.